first I'm gonna cover up my brows. So I use school glue stick and a disposable mascara wand, or you can call it spoolie, to flatten up my brows. I brush it upwards and then I make sure to press it at the same time, and I do this step several times because my brows are so thick, and then I use the glue itself to press it again. I let it dry for a few seconds or a few minutes, then I go ahead and bake it using a body powder. This one is by Enchanteur. It doesn't matter what kind of powder you use, but I use this one because it's suitable for absorbing any moisture on my brows. He drew a zombie picture, so this will be my reference. To sketch out, I use Kajal white eyeliner. This one is by Deborah Milano. I'm starting by creating lines on top of my forehead. This will be my skull, and then I draw brain, I guess. So basically I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I actually just create like half circle and a line, half circle and a line, and I repeat it a few times until I fill in almost the rest of my forehead. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's just a reference sketch. Then on my mouth, I create like a cracking skull. This will be an exposed area on my mouth. I'm gonna draw some teeth and some muscles that expose like some meat. It will be very disgusting, I guess. For the teeth, I take some time to draw one by one because I'm very suck at drawing teeth. I don't know why. Been few times I've done skull drawing, skull makeup before, and I think I'm very bad at drawing teeth. Surprise, surprise. I guess what I'm doing right now is drawing like a teardrop shape. And then it's time for my face paint. I use Imagic face paint and I take the color yellow and green. But first I'm gonna use this yellow face paint and create highlight at the edges of my skull. As you can see, I'm using a synthetic brush. This one is synthetic flat brush by Filbert. This is actually an art brush. And while I'm doing so, I blend it to my skin so that later I'm going to use green color, it will blend nicely. And on my nose, I create a line that will be my highlight. Oh, and I forgot to create wrinkles on my brows. This is not actually a brows, it's actually wrinkles. So I'm going to cover up my brows later. I use the same white eyeliner, Kajal eyeliner by Deborah Milano, to create some wrinkles. I don't know what you call this, wrinkles I guess? And I also forgot to create a nose. This is a skull-like nose. Not nose, I guess. A hole, yeah, hole. Skull, hole, nose. And for my foundation, I'm going to use this green face paint and a bigger flat synthetic brush. This is foundation brush to fill in the rest of my face except the sketch areas. This brush is so good because it makes the face paint look so smooth and blends nicely between the edges color. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to put the yellow face paint on my mouth, not my mouth, on the edges crack. I'm so stuck in English, I'm so sorry. Then I take Ucanbe Spotlight palette. I use yellow eyeshadow to highlight the yellow face paint. As you can see, I use dabbing motion instead of rubbing it because I want the color to be so intense. And from the same palette, I used a dark green eyeshadow. I'm not gonna apply the green eyeshadow all over my face. I'm gonna leave some space that I'm gonna fill in with other colors later. You don't have to worry about smoothing out the green color because this is zombie look. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can have patchy green color or whatsoever. It doesn't really matter. Then I take the brown color, this deep brown color, to fill in my eye socket. As weird as it sounds, I'm gonna use red face paint to start drawing my brain. So as you can see, I just follow the sketch that I did before, and then I'm gonna thicken up the lines. To fill in the space, I use lavender purple color pointy brush, precision brush, I don't know what you call this, taper brush, and dab it on and fill in the blank. At first I use a bright pink color, but somehow it's blend too well with the lines, so there's no contrast. That's why I use the lavender purple instead, and I think it looks better. To add more depth on the lines, I use red. This one is deep red color eyeshadow from the same palette, and start dabbing on each line, and also blend it to the lavender a little bit, just a little bit, to add more shading. To highlight every creases, crevice and curves of my brain, I use white face paint and add lines onto it. I use black face paint to create separation lines between the skull and the brain. At the same time, I create some cracks so that it looks like this is a broken skull. And then I use black eyeshadows on the skull so that my brains look inside of the skulls. Make sure to blend it nicely and not looking as if it looks like a perfect line. Instead, we don't want it to look perfect. We want it to be bland, you know, like shadow kind of bland. I also use the black color to add more definition on the crack, and the same white face paint as my highlighter, focusing my highlighter on the highest point of the skull. Then I use the same black face paint to define the lines of wrinkles on my brows, using the same deep green eyeshadow to blend out with the black face paint, and the same white face paint to highlight the wrinkles. To create wrinkles on my eye socket areas, I use liquid eyeliner by C-Code in the code color of black. The reason I'm using liquid eyeliner is because it's dry faster and it doesn't smudge whenever I open and close my eyelids. Then for highlight, I use liquid eyeliner by Handaiyan. This is a white eyeliner to highlight every crease, every wrinkles that I've just drawn. Again, I'm using liquid eyeliner because it dries faster and it doesn't smudge. To line my eyes and fill in my waterlines, I use Maybelline Kajal eyeliner in the code 001 black. I am so sorry because I didn't even realize that I'm out of the camera right now. So from now on, I have to explain everything that I do in details. So what I'm doing next is I use black face paint to do the nose hole. It's not nostril, it's nose hole on my nose. And then I create lines on my cheekbones and blend it using the deep green eyeshadow to get that extreme cheekbones. Next, I use red face paint to fill in negative areas around my mouth, except for my teeth, and also creating some tear or meat looking on my cheeks. Next, I use black eyeshadow to add more definition around the edges of my mouth and also the crack on my cheeks. On my mouth, I also ting the eyeshadow, the black eyeshadows, to my mouth and to the root of my teeth so that it looks more realistic as a muscle, more messy. For the teeth, I use white face paint and fill in the space that I've already sketched. To make sure the teeth look separated from one another, I use the same black eyeliner and draw thin lines between each teeth. Now, zombie don't have any perfect teeth, so I use brown eyeshadows from La Macaroon palette and add some shading on the root of every tooth and blend it out as much as possible. Then I use yellow eyeshadow to fill in the rest of the teeth and the same black eyeliner to create some cracks. Again, I use black eyeshadow to add more definition, some shading between the gums and the root of my teeth. By this time, I do only some highlight and some shading, adding up more details here and there. Time to add my zombie lens and the look is done. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. As usual, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this video and subscribe to my channel to see more videos from me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.